Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today, as it's going to be Caninana taking on Phobos in a ZVT here on Persephone. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you guys are the best at it. You always blow it out of the park. If you can click that like button, leave a comment down below saying more bots if you want to see more of these bot matches. And then subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That is all appreciated. And yes, we have got what should be a fun bot match, as Caninana is a very stable bot. It seems to be performing quite well on the new maps. Phobos is a aggressive Terran bot that definitely is like it's getting updates, that kind of thing. So you're never quite sure how a Phobos game is going to go, which always makes them exciting to watch. Like, it's been experimenting with Reapers at times. It is opening up double gas in this TVZ, which is a little unconventional, and we'll see where that's going to lead. But yeah, all right, let's go ahead and pull up something, and I did want to make a habit of showing in some of these bot games, which is the actual ranking of the bots on the ladder. I guess I can blow that image up a little bit more for you guys to see. Yeah, just a little bit of insight as far as how the bot ladder's looking, what the top bots are. You can kind of see the differences between them. And yeah, I thought that would be something cool to show off in these bot games just at the start. As always, -0 and Eris are up at the top. We've actually got not much between Caninana and Phobos, being 6th and 7th place. And so yeah, I just thought that would be something that I'd show. Someone requested that, and I will continue to keep bringing that up occasionally. If you guys do want to see that, let me know in the comments down below. I probably won't show that every video because the ladder doesn't change too much, and you guys can see it at aiarena.net. But yeah, just a bit of insight as far as where the best bots are on the ladder. Now, we do have a Reaper out for Phobos at the natural base of Caninana. It has killed one drone, grabs a second. It looks like there is another Reaper inside the main base of Phobos that was cleaning up a scouting Ling, but 2 dead drones at the start of the game is quite nice. Now, Caninana, upon seeing this Hellion, has fired up a Roachhorn and a Spine Crawler, so playing it quite safe. There is a good amount of queens, but this spine could very well be worth its weight in gold if the Reapers do continue to try and go into the main base of Caninana. We see the injured drones running away from the Reapers, so trying to prevent any more damage. Phobos, once a Reaper gets below a certain threshold, it does seem to just try and run them out. And unfortunately that didn't work, as those Reapers did kind of corner themselves. Caninana is now repositioning the Spine Crawler to the front, which I definitely do like to see. It's one of those things. Spine Crawlers, unlike most static defense in StarCraft 2, can move, which definitely opens up a world of possibilities. Now there is a Ling running around for Caninana, scouting out. That's one of the notable features of this Zerg bot, that it will scout its opponent and adjust its play. And yeah, a little bit of delay on the red Zerg, but nothing too significant here, as Caninana does have that third on the way, getting up some more drones. Meanwhile, Phobos is just pumping out, well, getting up some extra production, mining lots and lots of gas. We can keep an eye on that gas count of Phobos, whether it's actually going to utilize all that gas, or whether it will, say, pull some of those SCVs out to try and get some more minerals going. I do think it's probably making mining a little bit too much gas compared to its mineral income presently, because it is floating around 400, which is a little bit much. But if it builds, say, another Raven and another tank, then that will definitely help drop that gas count. For now, Caninana is just constantly running in these scouting Lings, trying to see what it can see. As we see, this is the unfortunate chosen ling, which will try and go on in, get some information, trying to path around, but it doesn't quite make it, as tanks are pretty good at preventing that. Now the Zerg bot is still scouting around, so if you think you're going to get away with a hidden base against Caninana, the answer is probably not, as it has scouted out every single base on the map, which is quite cool, as that shows just really good scouting behavior. There is Marines being produced by Phobos. No combat shield, no stim pack just yet. However, just non-upgraded Marines are wonderful units when it comes to bolstering up your armies. Now, Caninana does seem to be getting ready for a potential attack in the future, as it has produced 7 roaches. It's getting tunneling claws on the way, producing up some more of those roaches. The creep pushing out is very important as well for buying time against your opponent, and Caninana needs to buy as much time as possible, as Phobos is going for this big push out. Tanks and Marines with a Raven in the skies to reveal those burrowed roaches that will be trying to make this defense happen. As this Overseer is flying around still, we've got Phobos just moving forward. Caninana trying to send another scouting ling in. There's a third base behind this, so Phobos isn't all in with 2 bases or anything like this, but Caninana is moving forward with Queens and Roaches to try and shut this down. If it can get on top of the tanks, that would be nice. Looks like it's kind of just bypassing the tanks, targeting down the Marines, which aren't exactly the toughest units, but I think these tanks have been able to get quite a bit of damage done since Caninana kind of ignored that. There is some lings out, but they're a little late getting on top of that. The tank is now being healed up by the SCVs. Here comes in another wave for Caninana. There is tunneling claws, so those roaches can burrow and retreat, which is nice for the red Zerg. Even though there is a Raven to reveal them, their survivability is quite high for Caninana. It's one of the Zerg bots that probably has the best burrowed roach usage, and now this is a lot more roaches running forward. They do, however, elect to retreat and are unable to pick off those tanks. As I say that, though, lings streaming in to try and get the job done do pick off one of the tanks. These roaches will be back up in HP relatively soon. I do find it interesting that Caninana does pull the roaches out and then unburrows them right before they're at max HP. 110 seems to be the threshold for that, and sends them back into the fight, which could be a good thing, but it could also be a bad thing, as it basically means that they're going to cycle through more often. They're going to take a little bit more damage, hit that threshold, as opposed to if they just took the extra, I don't know, 5 seconds to heal up to full, they might have some more success. As the push is continuing on for Phobos, as it does just keep reinforcing this. We've got more medivacs coming, more bio streaming across the map. There really isn't much bio to actually support this. It's really just been the tanks doing the heavy lifting. Looks like one of those tanks will actually go down. 2 of them are unsieged. 1 tries to siege, but it does seem that Caninana is kind of holding this, as Phobos has been macroing quite hard behind this, getting up yet another base. So 4 bases for the Terran. Lots of supply tied up in these medivacs, which does skew the numbers a little bit, as Caninana is definitely on the back foot. If we take a look at the numbers here, now that tank line has been cleaned out. Phobos has to push a long way across the map to reinforce this. Caninana has infestors on the way. It's going to have +1 attack done soon. That will greatly help out the red Zerg. Phobos, meanwhile, does have double planetaries, actually, so sacrificing its economy for safety at these bases, which, I mean, 62 SCVs is a good amount to saturate this, although some SCVs are being pulled to the front as Phobos is going for yet another attack. We've yet to see combat shield, stim pack, anything like that, +1 attack, as the blue Terran is just committed to this attack. 6 medivacs, a Raven drops an auto turret, and then we do have Caninana getting out more infestors, more roaches. This could potentially be what Caninana needs to really shut down this army, as the Zerg does spill forward with its lings. The roaches and infestors are not really joining up with this, so Caninana fighting with one hand tied behind its back for the start of the fight. However, the rest of the units do come forward, and this is more than enough to send Phobos packing. There's infestors sharking around underground. They may be able to get some nice fungals on those medivacs in the future, potentially. Phobos is adding on more production, as it can afford that with its whopping 75 SCVs. A 5th base is on the way as well. So while Phobos does seem to not be making much headway, there is potential for this to go longer. The extra factory, I think, is going to be really important. If it can, say, be pumping out 2 tanks at a time, who knows, maybe even 3 tanks at a time if it adds in another factory. That is a lot of pushing potential. The Ravens and the Bio have been pushing these creep tumors back pretty consistently. Supply-wise, things are still not bad for Phobos. Caninana does have a great defensive force, though, as we see a fungal go down, lings spill forward, roaches moving forward as well. There's even hydras being added into the composition, and a Viking getting neural parasited to shoot down one of Phobos' own medivacs, as Caninana's defense is very high level. A nice fungal growth catching some bio-neural parasite on a tank. Phobos almost kills its own tank. However, the infestor dies right before that. The blue Terran is getting up more of a staging ground as it builds a starport, a factory, and a barrack, seemingly adding on its productions, one of each at a time. But that 5th base turning into a staging ground will be quite strong for Phobos. It's got 3 tanks out, 2 more on the way at a time, and that 3rd factory is going to be quite important, as dealing with tanks is not easy. As a bot author, we have a neural parasite and fungal going down. The Raven gets neural, drops an auto turret, as Caninana is just next level with its programming, using the spells of any unit that it can neural. Phobos is pushing forward. Caninana has so much tech and a good chunk of army here as it surges forward, getting on top of that fungal bio. There's only 1 tank sieged up for Phobos presently. That does need to go down as Caninana picks it off. There's another tank in the back, which is quite nice. The Zerg bot does have more lings on the way. It is investing in a lot of tech, which is a little bit risky at this point in the game. Like, you're not out of the woods yet, Caninana. Phobos is still pushing, yet it's investing in a hive. It's investing in some spore crawlers at its bases, which I guess you can't really knock that too much, but it will be nice for Caninana once this 2-1 upgrades potentially finishes up. The Zerg does move forward once again. Hydras backing up these lings. The tanks are getting some nice shots off as Phobos does a good job kiting back against this. So while Caninana does rebuff Phobos a little bit, Phobos isn't exactly losing the beachhead here, and it's still holding on, inching forward with more tanks. We're even getting a Ghost Academy added into the mix as the Terran's production and base count grows, building 3 command centers at a time. Caninana once again trying to make the defense happen as lings spill forward, getting on top of these tanks. The lings do have +1 attack, which is quite nice. Phobos has yet to add in any sort of upgrades for the Marines or the Marauders. And so as far as time goes, it's pretty good for Caninana. We've even got a few Swarm Host added into the mix. The Zerg bot is squeezing out some drones, squeezing out another base. Adrenal Glands being on the way, 2-2 being on the way for those Zerglings will be quite nice as this game just continues on. This is such a long push. What an action-packed game here as Phobos continues to try and push forward. Caninana neurals the tank, though, and it does seem to be pushing Phobos a little bit further back, but there's always another tank, it seems, which I do like. Phobos is switching its tech around as well, getting out Ghosts, getting out a Banshee. More planetaries being secured. As far as the base count goes, Phobos has the lead. Bio is moving forward onto this creep. There's lots of creep tumors to kill. We even have Corruptors in the skies now to potentially help pick off some of those medivacs, deal with the Vikings. But, I mean, that 1 tank does go down as Caninana shuts this down quite significantly. 5 ghosts are being added in at a time by Phobos, which is very cool. We don't get a lot of ghost building Terran bots. How well will Phobos use this? Notably, no upgrades being researched again. Snipe, of course, doesn't need an upgrade, but Cloak, which usually saves a lot of units' lives, is not being researched. So I'm a little surprised to see no upgrades researched from Phobos, as that, I mean, this bio is going to fall off massively. Both these bots have grown up a lot of supply here. Snipe's going down on some of these Zerg units. However, the Snipe just keeps retargeting as the Ghost gets eaten alive. I guess there's no cooldown on that. And Caninana is surging forward. Phobos with this big tech swap kind of ate into its production a little bit. We are having scans go down, trying to pick off infestors. One actually perishes there, so that's a nice snipe. But Phobos really has fallen in supply all of a sudden. It's building just SCVs. I guess it has lost some. Maybe trying to take up some of these bases. The Blue Terran has got so many bases, though. So, like, it does have economic ground to burn. The concern, though, is if Phobos can, or if Caninana, pardon me, can get up to that 200 supply mark and just have a death ball that trades out better than whatever the Terran can produce. Ghosts are still trying to get these snipes off. I really am confused by Phobos not taking any upgrades. As, I mean, trying to win off a push is good, but not teching up when you're, or not getting like attack upgrades when you're going into Ghosts is a little concerning. I guess there is some logic and arguments that could be made for it, that Ghost Snipe doesn't require upgrades. But Caninana does seem to have weathered the storm quite successfully. We do have a nice caustic spray hitting this planetary, so that's got to be repaired. The planetaries are solid anchor points from Phobos, but the Blue Terran just is losing units as quickly as it makes them, it seems, at this point in time, producing many SCVs as it is losing some of those. And this caustic spray is still causing problems. We'll see whether Phobos can potentially build up, but it is not going too well. As we do have roaches and hydras looking to break this planetary. SCVs running away instead of giving their lives trying to repair it. And yeah, I think Caninana has probably weathered the storm here. Phobos is falling into the SCV death spiral. It's mining more gas than it needs at this point, having 3,000 gas in the bank, but no minerals really. And so that is a reason why economic balancing can be important for bots. Looks like Phobos will try and make a stand here, but it's 0-0 bio against 3-2 Roach Hydra. Not to mention all the spellcasters and swarm hosts helping to bombard this. And the Terran is just being dismantled piecemeal here. So, really good showing from Caninana. It is a phenomenal bot, despite not receiving like too many changes actively, as it is quite a finished product, it seems, with how well it does play. Corruptor, Caustic Spraying, Lings running around, and then, yeah, Phobos just really fell apart with the Ghost transition. I'm a big believer in that tanks are probably the best Terran unit to mass and push with. And we never saw Phobos really hit that like 5 tank count, which really just deletes anything that gets too near. It always was pushing in, losing 1 or 2 tanks, and that allowed Caninana to be able to consistently make those defenses happen. A really, really great game between these two, though. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you've watched up until this point and you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Leave a comment down below saying more bots, and then click that like button too. If you do want to support these daily casts, there is a easy way to do that. Using the YouTube membership program, you can just press that join button or use the link down below, and I appreciate everyone who does that. Caninana now with the swarm host inside the main base, as it will take everything down. Just fast forward through to the end of this. Yeah, the SCV death spiral killed Phobos, and then I think just the Ghost transition. Like, Ghosts are a unit. You don't want to be fighting 150 supply against 200 with your Ghosts. You defend until you get 200 supply, then you push out, sort of thing. And, yeah, really well done here by Caninana. In no rush to take any more bases either. That's one of the interesting things about Caninana. It doesn't just try and take all the bases, it sort of takes them as it mines out. So I'm curious if we will get another one before this game ends. There's only 2 more buildings to kill. But, yeah, that is going to be that. GG.